Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah.
Melanated!
Welcome to another episode of my recap / review of a 90-day fiancé before the 90 days. Let's jump right into this girl. First we have Paul and Karini. Okay. So as we left off last episode, Karini has gone to her friend's house because Boo-Boo the Fool Paul left her to get mugged. And she low-key blames him for it. So Paul shows up to her friend's house and she's like, what do you want? Why are you here? And he's like, I owe you an explanation. And she's like, let's hear it. So that's where we begin. They're outside of the house, right on the porch, talking about the situation. Paul apologizes, says that he's very, very sorry for leaving her. And she wants to know about his criminal past. Like, could he possibly hurt her or her family? He says absolutely not. And she thinks about it and she's like, we always need to leave the lines of communication open. I forgive you, but don't take advantage of my forgiveness because you're only gonna get it once. I feel like this episode is an episode of bad bees. Like, every single woman, except for Darcy, in this episode really stands up for themselves, and it makes me so proud. So at the end of it, Karini's like, look, prove to me you love me. Paul mentions that he only has 2 days to prove that he loves her, and they both know what that proof would need to be. That proof needs to be that wedding ring and that marriage proposal. So Karini then leaves with Paul and they go back to the hotel, assumingly happily ever after. And that's it for Paul and Karini for this episode. I actually felt fulfilled. I feel like we got to the bottom of it. Now I just want to see what the next move is. P.S. Karini needs to put her hair back to the light color. I like it a little bit better. I'm not telling her how to live her life. I'm just saying, as a viewer who is on Team Karini and who effing loves that she always has a bold lip, I just wish that she would dye her hair back to the lighter color. Okay, so next we move on to Larry and Jenny. And this, last week, oh my God, like, this is what threw everybody, I think, in a loop. I find a fundamental problem with Larry, and I'm gonna tell you what it is. I don't think Larry has any class. It has nothing to do with social economic status, because I think there are people who are very, very rich who could have no class. Like, I feel like Donald Trump doesn't have any class. That's something that you're raised with and you understand on how to be respectful to people and how to behave when you're in public, I guess is the best way for me to think about it. And he didn't do that well. And I'm not arguing for him to eat the whole thing himself. I'm saying take a bite, especially when your intended and her family tell you that they have made this meal specifically for you. So Jenny is just so embarrassed, I can only imagine, and just so pissed. The plan was for her and Larry to stay at the family's house, and she decides that she doesn't want to do it, that she's just that embarrassed. She doesn't want to have to explain to her family for the rest of the night or be awkward for the rest of the night as to why and how this American man, just came there and disrespected the family, especially when he just asked for her hand in marriage. And I think the dad is thinking that he did a good job and he made the right choice by not saying yes and let's see how things go, because obviously that's a huge issue because he's a wimp, him and Paul. So they get in the car and Jenny doesn't want to talk to Larry. Her sister walks up and asks, like, where are you going? And Larry apologized and he's like, I didn't know, I'm sorry. She's really mad because I didn't eat the food. So he gets in the car. Jenny doesn't talk to him. Now, I don't know if they go back to Manila, because if we remember, that is a 5-hour drive. I don't know where they go, but, Jenny is not talking to Larry. She tells him about himself. She doesn't let him get away with it. She tells him that he's rude and that they made this food for him. And, like, I don't understand why he doesn't get that they're poor people who spent money on an entire pig and he couldn't even take a bite. I don't get why he doesn't get that. And like I said, I think that has to do with the fact that he doesn't have any class. Yeah, they get back to the spot. He's like downstairs having a beer. I'm like, if you're so scared of Filipino things, like, how are you drinking this beer? Like, what have you been eating so far if you are so scared? And everyone in the comment section is like, he's used to that McDonald's diet. And I'm pretty sure he is. He's used to like food that like attacks your senses and that you can't get out of it once you start to eat it. Like, junk food is like definitely a downward spiral. So like, maybe he's just used to that. He's not used to seeing real food. Larry just really can't appreciate what's going on. Like, he really doesn't get it. And then he sits downstairs at the bar and he tells the camera that he's an American and he put everything on the line for her and he came to this country and now she's just getting upset over some food. And it's just food. I'm like, it's just food, Larry? I mean, it's such an American statement. It's a statement made from somebody who's never gone without. It's a statement made from somebody who doesn't understand real poverty. It's like saying it's only water. There's some people who have to walk places to get water. Like, how long did it take that family to prepare that meal? Do they have indoor plumbing? Did they have to go somewhere to get a bucket of water to make that food? I don't know. But what I'm saying is, like, that Larry doesn't know either. He doesn't know how hard it was, difficult it was to prepare this meal, and all he's saying, it's only food. Nope. Jenny goes upstairs to the hotel. She lays in the bed. She tells the camera people that it's not going to work out and that he doesn't know how to behave. And she's crying, girl. She's crying. Larry walks in and he's like, babe, you know, we have to get over this. Don't you love me? She's like, look, I don't cry for men, okay? Men cry for me. I mean, if that isn't the best statement of this entire season, I don't know what is. I'm like, girl, Jenny, yes. She's telling the absolute truth. She's like, I'm 24 years old and I don't cry over men. Men cry over me. Who is you? So in the end, it seems like she forgives him, but I don't think she really does. I think she's gonna go hard on Larry from here on out. Like, she called him over, like when he first did it and she wanted to talk to him privately, she called him over like he was a dog. She was like, get over here. Like, I love this. I want her to run all over Larry. I want her to run circles up and down Larry and tell him about his business all day because he needs somebody. And that's what he wants too. That's exactly what he wants. He wants somebody to run him. All right, so next we move on to Patrick and Miriam. Now this is a really like just producer setup situation because all of a sudden they're at some MMA fighter like ring or something, like some gym that like Patrick just decided to take her to work out. Like, Patrick didn't decide anything. Producers were like, we're gonna find you an MMA gym to go to. It's gonna be really fun for you guys to hang out and you can show Miriam a little bit about what you do. And he was like, okay. We get there and clearly Miriam is like, oh, we're running now? Oh, okay. Like, she doesn't want to be exercising. She's like not into this at all. And he tries to like show her some move, but he's getting too close and touching her too much. And we have to remember, like, just because Miriam is not in a hijab doesn't mean that she's not a devout practicing Muslim. Like, people practice their Islam different ways, right? And not every woman chooses to wear a hijab. A hijab is a personal choice to make with your God, that you want to cover yourself. But you don't know how much of a Muslim Miriam is, and he is touching her, and she has a boyfriend. Her boyfriend's gonna watch this, and she is just not comfortable with it. You remember last episode where Miriam tells him that she doesn't know about her boyfriend, she doesn't understand where it's going, like he doesn't seem like he is really into the relationship or taking it that seriously. And Patrick then decides that he's gonna weigh in on that, you know, and tell her, you know, if I were you and if I had a girlfriend, this is how I behave, and I would never not want to see her, and it seems odd to me that he's not making time for you. And I'm like, first of all, Patrick, how long have you been there? Maybe her boyfriend is somebody in her culture that she is comfortable being with because it's going to make her life easier, and she never even intended to be with Patrick at all. And so him trying to get buddy up to her and close to her, she's like, you're going to leave in 2 weeks. You think that I'm moving to the United States to live with you? Like, I'm not going to. So let's have our time together here now as cool as friends. And when you go, I'm gonna go back to my regular life with the people I've known all my life. Like, not some guy I met on the internet a year ago. Like, let's just be real, you know? And he's just like, well, if your boyfriend's not here and this is what I would do, and you know, you should really think about that. And like, she's just like, why is Patrick trying to like step in on my boyfriend? Yeah, I regret. She had regrets telling him about the kinks in their relationship, because then he used that opportunity to try to slide on in. She like walks away from him outside of the MMA gym. She's like, you are playing with my feelings and that is not kind. She's just living her life and he's over here trying to make things extra. So anyways, he realizes that he did the wrong thing, and so he walks towards her. She's around the corner, like hanging up against the wall, like upset, crying. And he walks up to her and he's like, I'm really sorry. And she's just like, you know what, I'm sorry. Like, I think she just regrets this entire situation at this point. And he's just like, I didn't mean to come in between you and your boyfriend like that. And I just, you know, I'm sorry. I pinky promise that I won't talk about your boyfriend. And she's like, great, I came here to hang out with you. I don't want to talk about my relationship. I don't want to talk about my boyfriend because you don't know the situation. And he's like, you're right, I don't know the situation. So I'm like, what conversation did they have? What is the situation, girl? Tell me. She about to marry her Muslim prince and he's getting in the way? Maybe that's right. Like, she's like, are you moving to Paris? Because I sure ain't moving to Kentucky, girl. So now we jump to Courtney and Antonio. Now this, I'm actually kind of proud of Courtney for standing up for her. She's a fool for real, but I am kind of happy for her for standing up for herself. So let me tell you what happened. So they have sex, right? They finally have sex. You know, they're waking up in the morning, things are good. It turns out that Courtney didn't expect the sex to be as good, as passionate as it was, and she said it was great. So she woke up the next morning glowing, and he was happy. He was like, you know, she made me wait a little long, so like, that's weird, but whatever. He's making her breakfast, and then they realize that something is wrong with the air conditioning. And he lives in a small apartment. Guys, I cannot explain to you how small this apartment is. I lived in a small apartment in New York City, but it has nothing on this apartment. I almost want to say it's probably about as big as this is my bedroom. It is teeny tiny, and they have been living together for 3 weeks now. Like, or the whole time she's gonna be there is 3 weeks. Apparently she's been complaining this whole time. She's complaining about it's hot, she's complaining that it's small, she's complaining that it's noisy. And then so after like it starts to drip and they put a bucket underneath it to catch the water, the condensation from the air conditioning, she's like, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna like get a hotel? Are we gonna stay somewhere else? And he's like, Courtney, no, like, what do you want? It's okay. It's okay. She's like, can we get a fan? Everything is okay. Where are we gonna sleep tonight? He's like, maybe on the beach. Ha 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 ha. She's like really having like first world problems right now. Like, get it, girl, it's 95 degrees, but open that window. Open that window or get you a hotel room. Those are your two options. Stop complaining. Don't ask him to spend money on a hotel room when he's perfectly fine staying in his apartment. Yes, he has a guest. I understand where she is coming from. She is his guest. But I don't think Antonio anticipated her being on him the entire time. I don't think he understood what that was going to be like, being with somebody. And let me tell you, as somebody who loves to be solo dolo, I would not have been able to do it. But I'm at the place in my life where I understand my limitations as a human being. And I would have known to tell that person, whoever's coming to visit me, I need my space. Yo necesito mi espacio, like for real, for real. Like, I can't do it. You can't be all up in my grill. Not for 3 weeks, girl. No one. I spend 2 nights with Chris Farah, and like I need 4 hours to like walk around West Hollywood by myself because I cannot be with somebody that much. And I love Chris Farah down. That is my B. That is my ride or die. Okay, and I have to leave her. So like, I know 3 weeks with a stranger from the internet who isn't giving me none. Like, girl, that would be real hard for Waha Molino. Oh, my foot is asleep. Oh. Sorry, Ashini. So then Antonio leaves under the auspice of needing to do laundry and get money from the bank. Where this bank is, I have no idea. And did he take his laundry to his mother's house? Is that what he was doing there? Because he leaves her for a solid 24 hours and she is upset. The plan is that when he does come back, they are going to go flamenco dancing or something. They're going to a flamenco bar. And when he gets back, he hasn't texted her all day and she's been in her feelings. And in order to stay cool and hydrated, she has been drinking cold wine. Girl, mama has been drinking and crying and she is upset that he has just left her. And I thought to myself, girl, you didn't have any other contingency plans? Like, you didn't plan on like leaving the house, going anywhere? Maybe he didn't leave her a key. That would be an excuse if he didn't leave her a key. But anyways, I just would have left his shit open. You didn't leave me a key? What did you expect me to do? Stay in this hot box this entire time? I wonder if there was food. He returns, he wants to go. He's like, let's go. And she's like, are you kidding me? You didn't text me all day and you think we're just gonna leave? And he's like, I told you we were gonna go when I got back. So it was more so like, Courtney, I told you we're going to Flamenco. Let's go, baby, let's go. Why do you stop? It was more like that. And she's just like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, Antonio? Like, you don't understand that you haven't talked to me in 24 hours? You haven't even texted me? And he's just like, Courtney, I don't understand. Are you on your period? He asks her if she's on her period. Cause you told me. It is like crazy. He tells her to stop drinking. He ends up leaving because he's like, I need some fresh air. He doesn't like confrontation. When they first wake up and she's complaining about the AC, he says, you can go if you want. Like, he basically tells her, bitch, if you don't like what's happening right now, you can get up and leave. And she's just like, no, but I want to stay with you. I'm like, girl, that was your hint. That was your hint. He doesn't care about staying with you. At this time, he is over it. Take your silly butt and go to a hotel. So then anyways, Antonio leaves after that and she's bummed out and like that's where that ends. So next we move on to Sean and Abby. So where we left off last time with Sean and Abby, Sean and Chris have that weird interchange. She goes to stay with her family and Sean is sad. So the next day he decides, he has 2 days left in Haiti, that he's gonna go to her family's house and try to make amends. So he gets to mommy and daddy's house and Abby, boss B Abby, strolls up to the door and it's like, good morning, Sean. And he's just like, he's like, hi, Abby. Good morning, Sean. It is so funny. I watched it like 3 times. Good morning, Sean. So they sit outside and he's just like, she just basically says that she doesn't want to have to choose him over Chris and she doesn't pick Chris over him. He's the one who's forcing the situation and she felt overwhelmed. She then promises that she's not going to have any physical contact with Chris, but she is going to see him obviously. And I don't know what that means. Maybe that means that she's not going to touch him, but he could touch her. I don't know, girl. But that sounds real fishy. And then when she's doing her confessionals, looking all glistening with her hair slicked back, yeah, in the confessional she's just like, I guess I'll stop talking to Chris. I do love him, but for the sake of love, I'll stop talking to Chris. And you can tell she's really upset about it. Like, she doesn't want to stop talking to Chris. She wants to keep daddy in her pocket. They kind of make up. They want to give it another chance. And he asks her, and she's just like, yes. Can we give this another shot? Yes. Is how she says it. Like, though she's just like, sure, let's try again. Girl, she's 20 years old, and Sean knows that she is 20 years old, and so he thinks that he just needs to give her another chance because she doesn't really understand relationships. Sean leaves with saying, I guess I have to trust you, and Abby's like, I guess you do. Okay, so that's the end of them, and we move on to Darcy and Jesse. Now, I'm gonna first say that Adriana Berry, who is a commenter, she commented this, my very same sentiment that I feel now, on my first video, the first one of this series. She doesn't dislike Darcy at all. She just dislikes the situation. Darcy seems like a nice woman, but she's going over the top to prove herself to this young man. And I absolutely agree with you, Adriana. I 100% see your point. And thank you, call out to Miss Hunter for highlighting that, because I agree 100%. This is why the relationship between Jesse and Darcy is so weird for me, because I recognize that Darcy is a badass bee. She owns her own company. Like, she's a grown A woman. I think that she diminishes her value. Let me go into my Iyanla Vanzant for you. Miss Darcy, you diminish your womanhood in an effort to be in a relationship that might not be compatible. I feel like Darcy tries to forget that she's not a grown woman who knows more than him in order to make him feel, or in order to make this fairy tale work. Because he says a lot of juvenile things. I don't think that Jesse is a bad person. I don't think that he's controlling in a way that a man tries to be controlling. I think he's just trying to be an adult. And he's trying to make strong, positive adult decisions at age 24. I think he puts a lot of pressure on himself to be a certain way, possibly because his mother is a little eccentric. I mean, you can go any kind of way. Some people, if their parents are extra, they're extra. It doesn't matter. But I do think that his, like, polishedness is a little bit in reaction to that. I don't know, I'm just saying. I feel like some of the things that Jesse says are demeaning only because she's a grown-ass woman and it sounds like he's talking down on her. It sounds like he's trying to give her life advice. It sounds like he's trying to tell her how to be when Darcy knows how to be. And she allows it because I think she's in love with the idea of being with the guy who looks like him. Or she wants to be taken care of, and so she diminishes her value and her womanness in order to give him this space to be who he is. And it's unfair to the both of them, I think. So they have been together for 5 weeks when they had that like blow up, and now things are better. Jesse makes some comment saying like, oh, it was a beautiful thing that happened because now we're stronger than ever. And she's like, yeah, our bond is stronger than ever. And then like this happens. Jesse plans this wonderful trip for them. She's very excited. They're going to the windmills because that is like a big thing in Amsterdam. They go to the windmill. She's excited because she thinks something fun is gonna happen. They get there, they go inside the windmill. He takes her to the top, he takes off his jacket, he gets on one knee, he produces a ring, and he puts it on her finger and he says, this is an appreciation ring. I don't know if it's real. I don't think it's a diamond because it wasn't shining like diamonds do, but it looks like an engagement ring. He said that he had it engraved with their names on it, and he's so proud of her, and that he wants to show that he's appreciative of her. He's so proud of her. That sounds so like diminishing. Like he looks down on her. Like, what did she accomplish? Is it because she said she wasn't going to drink anymore, even though that morning they toast with a drink? Like, I don't get it. Does he not understand that? Maybe it's not beer. Maybe that frothy drink that looked like Guinness wasn't beer. But if he really was trying to get her to not drink anymore, beer is alcohol. He gets on his knees and says that it's not an engagement ring and that he's so proud of her and he wants to show his appreciation to her, so he threw her a fucking bone, gave her a ring because that's what she's been begging for. And I just felt so bad for her. And she was just like, what is this? And he's just like, I love you, it's appreciation. We've had so much fun together and you've grown and become a better person. That's what I feel like. And he might not have said that at all, but that's what it feels like when he says that he appreciates her and he's so proud of her. So they leave and they have like a little conversation with the producers and she's just like, it was unexpected. They get in the car and she asks again, like, what does this ring mean? And he's like, I already told you 4 times, so it means whatever you mean now. She's like, no, I want to hear it again. I want to hear it again. I want to know what it means. Like, does it mean that it's like a promise ring? Is it a pre-engagement ring? Like, what is it? And he's like, it's an appreciation ring. And she's just like, okay, but what does that mean? And he's like, I already did the whole speech for you. No one knows what it means, Darcy. But we do know what it doesn't mean. And we do know what it's not. And what it isn't is an engagement ring. It is bananas that he would even think that getting on his knees and producing a ring, putting it on her finger to only tell her that he's proud of her and that it's an appreciation ring. I want to know how much this ring costs. I want to know how much an appreciation ring costs. I'm not here to tell anybody how to live their lives, you know what I'm saying? I just comment on it. Because you put your life on TV. All is right, I'm on the right side of the screen now. All right, you guys, that is the end of this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am going away for my birthday, so I will not have an episode of this for next week. You're just gonna have to wait till the following week. I'm gonna be trying to like even out this situation, you know what I'm saying? I want this to match this, so we're just gonna do a lot of like chest sunbathing, you know? Okay, so the color that's on my lips is Kat Von D's Bauhaus 5. This is a really good, friendly, dark skin color. It works on every skin tone I've ever seen it on. If you like what I do here on this channel and you want to consider becoming a Patreon patron, please click the link down below. It would be much appreciated. So let me know what you guys think of this week's episode down in the comments section. Always remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye.